Hello homebrewers and welcome to my channel. So it has been nearly 14 days since I have made a video, so I must apologize. As of the 1st of March I started my business that I've been talking about for a while now, and yeah, it's a lot of work, a lot more than I was anticipating. So yeah, I apologize about that. But anyway, on with today's video. I made this lovely apricot jam wine. Now it has been sitting, it's been ready to go for, funny enough, about 14 days, but I've been distracted, so I'm going to do that now. And like I said in the part 1 video, I'm not going to be doing the bottling video because that's kind of boring. What I am going to be doing is I'm going to be comparing this simple jam wine with this, which is, look at that, looking good. It is the apricot wine I actually made a long time ago. The reason is, real apricots kind of got a lot of tannin and kind of bittery, and they need a long time to age. So, let's see which one of these is the best. So, both of these wines are made with apricots. This is apricot jam, and this is actual apricot. Now, they are both comparably the same. This one here is 8.5%. It was 9, but it finished at 9.95. This one is actually at 9.95 as well, which is cool. So that gives us a kind of 7.5% to an 8.5%. Obviously, you could have bumped it up with a bit more jam to make, I think it's 12%, or you could have added a bit more sugar. But these wines, they're kind of easy drinking, theoretically. So you can go through the whole choice of adding in preservatives, so you can back sweeten this with sugar. Again, I'm not going to. Never use Camden tablets to stop fermentation. It's good for sterilizing stuff before you ferment. Like if you're making any type of fruit wine, you add the pulp in and add that in. If you want to stop fermentation and then to back sweeten it with sugar, add in a stabilizer. That is because you're going to get a complete stop with a stabilizer, whereas a Camden tablet is only going to part stop it. It will come back. It may take 6 months or a year, but it will still carry on and ferment away. Just so you know. So what I'm going to be using is my good old sucralose-based sweetener. Now you can get all different types. If you like aspartame or these, you can use them. This one came from Asda and it was cheap, so I picked it up. I also have my Tesco's one, which is the same. I mean, it's all just good wholesome fun. So I've done enough talking. Let's get to tasting. So this wine has been sitting for about 2 years, just mellowing and tasting and becoming lovely. Now the only thing that I did that you haven't seen, if you've seen the part 1 video, which is 2 years old, is I transferred it to a different demijohn, hence why I've got this bit hooked on here. Very lazy as well. So it had, I didn't degas it, so it still has a bit of atmosphere in there of CO2. So this is a good way to see if this has been oxidized or it's off, or if it tastes plasticky. So let's open it up. A little bit of a gassy exchange. Ooh, that smells good. Sweet and gassy. Whoa. A little bit of CO2, but that's okay. And I'm not going to worry about this because I am going to be bottling it. So get a nice glass out. No molds, no off flavors, no nothing. Like I said, it is perfectly fine to be stored long term as long as you leave some CO2 in there to stop it from oxidizing. So let's give this a go. So it has a very mild flavor, on the nose. CO2 doesn't make your head go funny. Funny enough, if it's poured in a glass. And that's quite nice. Now, apricot is a very, very subtle flavour. It has mellowed out now. It's nowhere near as bitter as it was. And I am getting fruity afternotes. It is actually very pleasant on its own. I like it. The one downside to it is it took 2 years to get rid of that really astringent taste that you get that's really drying. That is the downside to making actual apricot wine. But this is very nice after aging. I could quite happily drink that. So this is a really nice, easy drinking wine now. It is nice and fruity. I can taste, it's not necessarily apricots. There is an apricot flavour, but apricots are very delicate, so. But it has a very nice flavour to it. The lower alcohol really does aid the flavours. It is very nice. It hasn't got that bitter taste that you've got with the tannins or anything like that. It has mellowed beautifully. And I will be bottling this off camera because, like I said, bottling it is boring. But yeah, this is very nice, good colour. But it doesn't really have a very strong smell. I'm getting a slight bit of fruitiness, but that's really it. It is very, very nice. So I've rinsed out my glass and we're good to go again. And I've got this one, which I'll pull off the thing too. Let's give it a whiff. Ooh, CO2. Right, so I'm just going to pour out a glug. You can see all the bubbles coming up from the bottom. Let's just pour ourselves out a glass. And instantly you can tell it is a much lighter colour. Yeah, look back on. There we go. So I'm going to try it without back sweetening first, because, well, you want to know. Bottoms up. See, it doesn't really have much of a flavour. It also hasn't been degassed, which it's going to have to be. It does have some very slight fruity notes, but that won't come out until we add some sweetener. So here is my lovely low-calorie sucralose sweetener, because, you know, I'm watching my figure. And 1 teaspoon per glass, roughly. Give it a stir and wait for the chemicals to fizz away. And right, as you can tell, it is a much lighter colour still. Nowhere near as dark as this apricot wine, but that's to be expected. So let's give this one a go. Okay, so apart from the edge of sweetener, which does die down after about 24 hours, this one has got a much more delicate flavour. So these two wines have been compared, one against the other. Now this one, if you left this to age for about 3 or 4 months, it would mellow out and you probably wouldn't need to add sugar. But at the same time, this is a quick drinking wine. It's not meant to be the highest quality. It is meant to be a good, quick drinking wine. You can have this in a bottle and be drinking this within 4 weeks, if you want. You do need to back sweeten it. Whereas this one, you could back sweeten this, but it still have that bitter aftertaste. You really need to age it. So it really comes down to what you want to make. If you want something that's quick and easy, apricot jam wine. If you want to make something that is actually really tasty and will last and it takes a bit of time, then this one. They are both fantastic for what they are, and I really like both of them. Now, I will tend to go towards this one because I can drink it dry, whereas this one I need to sweeten it. So it's all up to you, really. It's a tie. I mean, each one has their pros and cons. This one, tasty. This one, tasty. It's all tasty.